advocating and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Look, fuck rap, I'm a street legend. Block love me with a deep reverence. I was birthed in a C-section. Helicopters and police presence. We got ops, so we keep weapons. We on y'all block while y'all eat breakfast. A lot of shots, we broke street records. Watch how you talk, I got reflexes. Watching your cheap necklace. Then we slide at the east exit. But every time we get the sub, TMZ catch it. Y'all still learning street lessons. From the mastermind, first you master grind and your team catch it. This time it's for the money, I don't need credit. And I'm the Don cause the street said it. Look, fuck rap, I'm a street legend. And I'm the Don cause the street said it. Block love me with a deep reverence. And I'm the Don cause the street said it.
And I got pressure on me. 7 days a week is game 7 on me. Life will test you out, you live through that, that's testimony. Giving them hell, but how in the hell I got all these blessings on me? Most of the girls I know addicted to social media. All the time they put in, they could've wrote encyclopedias. Mama said it only takes one time to fuck up your whole Wikipedia. And as your son, I can see the type of life that you see me in. After what happened in Nipsey, I reached out to Kendrick. It wasn't even no real issues there to begin with. Lack of communication and wrong information from people fueled by the ego. It's like mixing flames with diesel.
All right, KBLA Talk 1580. I can just listen to the song and forget about the show. 800-920-1580. We got time today. Like I say, we got time today. And that's a call to you if you want to get on the mic at 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Happy Black History Month. We're still on a mission to make it the blackest one ever in the history of blackety blackness, as is much needed in our nation today. In the meantime, let's catch up on a few things going on around the world. The United States and Russia have a meeting to talk about Ukraine, and Ukraine is not invited. That was a laugh to keep from crying laugh. They agreed on 4 principles in their talks, 4 hours of talks in Saudi Arabia. They want to appoint a team, excuse me, to negotiate and work through the end of the conflict in Ukraine. They say they're items, which will be easy since Trump already indicated he's going to give Russia everything they want and more before as did J.D. Vance, before any negotiation even started. And that, of course, angering Ukraine because, well, who wants to be the subject of a negotiation when you're not invited to the table? Like, it's a war between Russia and the Ukraine, so how are Russia and the United States having a meeting without Ukraine? Yeah, that happened. The Trump wrecking ball to the U.S. government continues. I mean, look, there's some of it you just got to say, well, let it burn. Let's see what happens, right? Because, some of these things we've said, well, we wouldn't mind getting rid of this or that. But the fact of the matter is 2 more agency heads have quit. The Social Security Administration's acting commissioner stepped down because the Department of Grifters for Elon, or Doge, has requested access to all of its data. That is not good news. The Social Security Administration's acting commissioner stepped down. What happens, it seems like, when these folks step down, just like when the Treasury officials step down, is that then Doge gets their way. They get in, they get access to all of the computers, and who knows what they're doing, changing, leaving behind inside as far as spyware, who knows. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's chief, Jim Jones, has also stepped down over disagreements with the administration. So these are the folks that, although, they're not perfect, and we know that, They help keep your food supply safe. That's problematic. Right now, we're in an administration whose puppet master, Elon Musk, has said that we should get rid of all regulation. Think about what that means for your food. I mean, we are in the midst of a bird flu situation. I don't want to call it an epidemic or a pandemic because I don't know that it's that. We don't think it's that yet, potentially, but we don't know that. But there is a spread. Let me put it that way. There is a spread of bird flu. Why is bird flu infecting cows? Why don't they call it cow flu? Well, it's chicken, it's beef, it's milk, it's dairy. And now the head of the FDA is like, F this. These people are too crazy. And guess who, just got sworn in as HHS secretary? It is sort of a perfect storm. I'm not trying to be scary, but if there was ever a time to be vegan, it would be now. Yeah. So remember Ralph Yarl, the young man who was murdered by a white homeowner because he knocked on the wrong door. He was trying to pick up his younger sibling to take the kids out of childcare, and it turned out that he knocked on the wrong door, and this white guy shot him. Well, he didn't kill him. He disabled him, I guess, for life. The guy's name is Andrew Lester. He's 86. This is Kansas City, Missouri. Well, he pleaded guilty last Friday to second-degree assault. And this was right before this thing was supposed to go to trial for 2 felony charges of, which would have resulted in up to 30 years in prison. So basically, he pleaded out to an assault charge. And clearly, he won't be sentenced. I think it's later in March that his sentencing comes, but now he's looking at a maximum of 7 years. It's March 7th. Yeah, it's March 7th. The sentencing, but basically he's pleading out. He's going to basically get a slap on the wrist for shooting a young black man in the face for knocking on the wrong door. You didn't have to open that door. You were not in danger. This kid was a teenager, and a young teenager at that. So he was going to pick up his younger brother. That's what it was. And he went to the wrong house. And he shot through the door and hit him in the forehead, in the right arm. Now he's pleading out. Now, I grant you, at 86, 7 years could be a life sentence. But I doubt he'll get the maximum. And he lied to police, blah, blah, same thing. He said he saw a tall black man pulling out a weapon. Turns out to be a short, unassuming high school student who was unarmed. And I mean, I guess we can consider this a win because at least there is some criminal accountability for attempting to take a black life. But the prosecutors are still saying it's not racially motivated. Which to me is just like that I'm so tired of hearing this. It's not racially motivated means that if a high school kid knocked on the wrong door of an old white man and that high school kid wasn't black, he would still be shot in the head. That's the only way you can tell me it's not racially motivated. If little Chad from Encino knocks on the door of an 86-year-old, whoops, wrong house, does he get shot in the head? Yes or no? Clearly, it's racially motivated. 800-920-1580. That's the number. We can talk about a lot of things. Like I said, I'm glad that at least there will be a measure of accountability. There will be a sentencing. We don't have the opportunity for a jury, another anti-black jury nullification. But clearly this will be a much lesser sentence than what a person probably ought to get for just shooting a person in the head for no good reason. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
They can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary.
On Saturday, February 22nd, you are invited to A Night with the Panthers, a special fundraiser dedicated to supporting Black Panther veterans who now require assistance with essential needs such as medicine, food, and housing. These Black Panther veterans championed human rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
Are you a recent college graduate with a dream of getting a high-paying job in sales? A job where you can grow a lucrative career in multi-platform audio, digital, podcasts, social media, and local events, along with world-class training and career growth opportunities. KBLA Talk 1580, located in historic Leimert Park, is currently hiring entry-level account executives for outside sales. Join a team featuring radio hosts Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornell West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, Dr. Nee Cordelai Corte, Zoe Williams, and our very own Dominique DiPrima. For more information on attending our upcoming career fair, contact SMB at KBLA1580.com today.
Work, 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 work.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Yarl, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed. I do appreciate you. And just the story of Ralph Yarl, the more I, research it, just hurts my heart. The mama said, the defense gets to pick their attorney. We get stuck with that whatever prosecutor were assigned. She didn't feel the prosecutor believed in the case in his gut, and he didn't go all in, so they ended up pleading out. But on the other hand, she said, during the hearing on her son, Ralph Yarl, he had to take cross-examination from the defense, sit on the stand for an hour with questions, and that after that, for 2 days, he was in his room just curled up on his bed in the fetal position. And she talks about how her 16-year-old, he was 16 at the time, he was shot in the head and in the arm, and ran away from that porch, or he would have been shot dead, asking for help from neighbors who did call the ambulance and did get him rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery, which is the only reason why he survived. But before that, he was an honor student. He was a all state in competitions for his musical instrument. And now he's struggling just to get himself out of bed, back on track. I mean, the implications of being shot in the head for your brain health and mental health, amazing. But his mom made a good point. She's quoted on Fox 4 saying that he won the battle on the night of April 13th. I tell him that all the time. The very night of April 13th, he won the battle, because when he was shot the first and second time, he could have stayed there and just died. But he chose to get up and go and start asking for help. So, Talking Point Tuesday. The talking point, it wasn't racially motivated. The reality is a white child standing on those stairs would not have been shot in the head. Period, full stop. Let's go to Shayon calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Shayon.
Hey, good morning. Just on that quick point, no. European child wouldn't have been shot on like that on nobody's porch, whether they knocked on a black person's door,
right,
Asian, etc. That we, especially our door, we just don't do that type of malicious type stuff. We would have opened the door and assisted the child. And
exactly. Oh, you must be lost. Well, let's figure out where your brother is, so you can actually pick him up. That's so responsible of you, young man, to be picking up your brother. Wow.
Yeah.
That's what we would do. You're right.
Yeah, we don't just shoot through the door, or open the door, and just we just don't we don't do that. But the other reason I called was I wanted to talk about the judges in the federal courts and the Supreme Court in regards to Trump and Elon Musk and his deputies just running through, gathering everybody's data in the IRS, HSS. And I'm thinking, these judges, what do they think? They think they live in another country? They got your data too, Your Honor. You think about that? They got your tax records.
Yeah, well, I mean, but the judges have tried to shut this stuff down. I mean,
no, they not. Listen,
for the most part. And the question is, the other question, which tracks with what you're saying, Shayon, is when you shut it down, what does that mean when he's already in the system?
Well, believe it or not, they try to. Judges have a lot of power. They just not exercising it. But if it was us, it look like Shayon and Dominique DiPrima. Oh, trust and believe. we be under the jail.
Judges have a lot of power against the average person. But what about the president?
No, it's a reason that the system is set up, and the checks and balances. Those federal judges. Look, those federal judges. When you defy their order, they can order the marshal to take you into custody for contempt, and let Pam Bondi tell the federal marshals to stand down.
Well,
we want to.
I mean, they would never take a sitting president into custody. They might. They might take a sitting Doge leader.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
Right?
and his minions.
All of those that's in contempt or the order not following out from Elon Musk and everybody who he employed. Oh, they definitely able to be taken into custody.
I mean,
he can order that.
And to your point, Shawn, I hadn't seen this. A federal district judge is now refusing to implement a restraining order to stop the Department of Education from giving Elon Musk access to student data. So that means the University of California Student Association had asked the judge to block the Department of Grifters from Elon from accessing sensitive personal financial information. And the nominee for Department of Education said, oh, it's not a big deal. But they tried to get a judge to stop it. And now the Obama appointee has said that the dangers are just conjecture.
Well, you know, judges are left to their own discretion, but the majority of the judges that's been ruling against Trump, they can actually, like I said, issue those contempt orders and order the federal marshals to take them into custody for contempt of the court order, and make Pam Bondi, the attorney general, force her to tell the federal marshals not to obey the judge. Yeah, which
she would do without even thinking twice about it. I mean, this is the woman who took a campaign contribution, you know, and then decided not to pursue the case on the Trump University grift.
Well, what I'm saying is, we assume that. Let's see it play out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, all of this stuff we got to see it to its logical conclusion, and that's the problem now. One thing about the news media, let me just go to the news media real quick. With these Sunday shows and these shows that have these politicians on, I don't know why they have the Democratic Congress people coming on to answer questions. Those questions should be strictly reserved for Republicans. Hey, what's going on? You supporting this? This is what you make them confess that out of their mouth live on there. Don't bring them because really the Democrats, they've been feckless to a certain point, but really what could they do? They in the minority. Even when they was in the majority, they let two people, Kristen Sinema and
Joe Manchin,
the guy from Joe Manchin, filibuster a whole police reform bill. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Two people.
Yep.
That's because they really didn't. The Democrats really didn't want to pass that bill.
You might be right about that. I mean, otherwise we would have seen at least an attempt, you know, to reform the filibuster, to do something, make D.C. a state, make Puerto Rico a state, like do something, get rid of the Electoral College. Pick one, just pick one and do it.
Well, let's look at Lyndon Johnson with the Civil Rights Bill, right? And all the pushback and threats of filibuster, etc. What did he do? As the president in the bully pulpit, he went behind closed doors, and all of those Congress people in the Congress and in the Senate, he twisted their arm. Whatever he said or did, they came back and got it right.
Yep, and that's what you call whipping votes.
Biden didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
Biden didn't do that.
As far as we know, he has not done that. Either that or he's wildly ineffective at it, which seems very unlikely considering that Joe Biden knew where all the bodies were buried. I mean, he was in the Senate for since
80.
Jesus was a child. Yeah. Right. So, you know, the idea that he doesn't have dirt on almost all those folks and famously works across the aisle and has friends across the aisle is kind of hard to believe. But, you know, he also had a lot on his plate. So who knows? The fact that they supposedly couldn't get not only the police reform, voting reform, right? Meaningful voter protections. And then that, you know, to Fahima's point about him trying to do that, or no, it wasn't Fahima, somebody's point, John Wood's point about him trying to do the Equal Rights Amendment on the way out the door as an afterthought. Yeah, point taken. But as you also said, and I and many others have stated, my issue is what are we going to do now? We can sit here and say, well, Kamala shoulda, woulda, and I wish did this, and Biden should have done this, that, and the third. But here we are now. And I think you're right. Republicans have to answer to what, the dog caught the car. Is this what you want for America? We've got news, traffic, and sports right here. Then we'll continue this conversation only on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. A Delta flight from Minneapolis, Minnesota crashed at Toronto Pearson Airport Monday, injuring nearly 20 people, but causing no fatalities. The Endeavour Airjet was carrying 80 people, including 76 passengers and 4 crew members, with 18 taken to hospitals. Michelle King, the top official at the Social Security Administration, resigned after refusing a Department of Government Efficiency request for access to sensitive records, including Americans' bank info and Social Security numbers. President Trump appointed Leland Dudek, an anti-fraud manager, as acting commissioner. Severe flooding over the weekend is being blamed for more deaths across the South. The governor of Kentucky gave an update on Monday and said the death toll has risen to at least a dozen in his state. And Apple is launching a new product on Wednesday. Speculation is that Apple will be taking the wraps off a new iPhone SE4. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, CalHope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Former Crenshaw High School star Marcus Johnson is a finalist for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, class of 2025. Johnson, an All-American at UCLA, played 7 of his 11 NBA seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks. He was a 4-time NBA All-Star and a first-team All-NBA selection in 1979. Former Lakers center Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony are also among the finalists. The Hall of Fame inductees will be chosen April 5th during the NCAA Final Four in San Antonio. 46 players from HBCU schools participated Monday in the NFL's HBCU Scouting Combine in New Orleans. It was a chance for HBCU players to make a first-hand impression on NFL scouts and player personnel directors. 7 players from last year's HBCU Combine earned a roster spot on an NFL team, including Rams kick returner Xavier Smith of Florida A&M. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you, neighbor to neighbor, bringing you resources and what you need to know. For up-to-the-minute info on distribution hubs, help, and volunteer opportunities in the Altadena area, please visit Neighborhood Servants or Pasadena Community Coalition on Instagram. The Wild Seed Collective is offering free grant workshops to businesses impacted by the LA wildfires. Find them at wildseedcollective.com. Fuller Psychological and Family Services is offering 12 free therapy sessions to people impacted by the fires who are unable to access care. Contact Executive Director Dr. Ted Koss at tedkoss@fuller.edu. Grief and Hope, the LA Art World Mutual Aid Relief administered by The Brick, is offering help to artists impacted by the blazes. Info is available at the/brick.org. On Instagram, Mutual Aid LAN is updating a Google Sheet in real time with locations, verified GoFundMe sites, and current resources. If you haven't done so yet, it's still a good idea to sign up for Notify LA on your phone for fire alerts and updates. Praying, advocating, and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit CASMPvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money, or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
What you want to do, huh?
KBLA Talk 1580 is thrilled to share that we have been named as a semi-finalist for the coveted American Climate Leadership Awards, honoring our climate work last year. We're also delighted to announce year 2 of our Climate Justice Crusade. This year's $2 million 12-month campaign will link and combat the relationship between climate change and poor health outcomes for African Americans and the poor. Climate inequities have taken a toll with multiple health triggers in the Black community, such as extreme heat and poor air quality, made worse by the recent wildfires. Our work to ensure climate justice and climate equity continues. In the coming weeks and months, you'll be hearing a lot more about our 2025 climate campaign. To learn more about our plans for this year and the companies and organizations supporting us, log on to our website at kbla1580.com. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, welcome back indeed. I guess Shayon couldn't stay with us. I know he has a whole job, but if you want to call 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, that is the number to call. And I have got to say that I really and truly appreciate our fired up and fiery elected officials right now, the Maxine Waters of the world, who continue after all these years to speak truth to power and stand unafraid. The Sydney Comloggers, who, by the way, Sydney Comlogger Dove will be on with Tavis next hour. So, you know, always unapologetic, unbossed, unbothered, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I really feel like that is how we can and should be in these times. You don't have to. I'm going to keep saying it. You do not have to listen to all their BS. You don't have to go line by line with all their crazy executive orders. But what you do, what I would encourage you to do is be like AOC, be like Maxine, be unafraid. Talk back. You know, that's what we have to do right now. I believe that's what we have to do. Listen to our music, do our dance, and be unbowed, unbossed, unbothered. That's what I say. And I'm gonna keep reminding us, because I've talked to so many people who are really on all the way out on that ledge. The fact that Ralph Yarl's, and I know the man that shot the child through the door was not a cop, but the fact that we even pause now, that a black life is worthy of a conversation, is worthy of people donating to a GoFundMe for this young man to rebuild his life to the tune of $3 million, that is because we marched. That is because we protested. We educated people. We raised the consciousness. That is why. And that means that it makes a difference when we take action. It makes a difference. Going right to Eric, calling us from Carson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dominique.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I wanted to take you in a slight different direction, if that's okay.
It's all good.
I have lately got a little bit more knowledgeable about our government and how I think it works. And I have two friends who are atheists. Well, I have a cousin and a friend who they're atheists and they're Trump supporters. And I've lately I thought so. And I've come to understand that Trump is the president of the United States. And I don't think that he has any more power or any less power than any other standing president. And to prove that, he's talking about dismantling the Department of Education. And I think that Nixon, and I know that Reagan tried to do that previously. I was too young to be a player at that time, but they were unsuccessful. Why? Because they needed the support of Congress. They have what's called now a windfall elimination provision that if you get a government pension and you get Social Security, even though you paid into both, they get a offset. My mother and father were affected by that.
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
And so in 1983, Congress passed the bill and Reagan signed it into law. Now, again, I was too young to be a player back then, but I am a government employee, and I was on the verge of having this happen to me as well as it did to my parents. And Congress has been trying to repeal this for years, and they haven't had the support of the standing president because I think the presidents follow a script. But Biden, he went out rogue, and he signed it. And so I'm so happy my mother is going to get her just deserves. My father has passed away, but my mom is going to get this. And so my point to all of this is that it's a game. It is a game, and other presidents, I'll close with this, other presidents have sent illegals back. Obama sent more than any president.
Can we call them undocumented people? Because illegals just kind of dehumanizes people. And whether you like them or you don't, they're humans.
My bad, and you're right. And I was just trying to make a point that they have been. This has been a protocol of the presidents forever, and Trump wants everybody to believe that I'm doing something for the people. He's only doing what everybody else has done in his position, and he's just trying to take credit for doing something that nobody else could ever do.
I mean, he's the king of taking credit for stuff. But let's walk that back a little bit, because I feel like what we're relying on is that Trump doesn't have more power than other presidents, and that Congress will step up and do what they're meant to do. But he does have a majority in Congress. He has a majority in the House, albeit slim, but he does have a majority. He has a majority in the Senate, and he owns the Supreme Court. So actually, he does have more power than most presidents at this moment. It may not last. His popularity ratings, depending on which poll you look at, ain't that great. And we expect some changes at the midterm. However, when he decides that he's going to defy Congress, which is what he's doing right now, and saying, I have the power of the purse, not you. Well, Elon Musk has the power of the purse, not you. I'm going to cut out the USAID. These are dollars that were already designated by Congress. Not that I'm going to convince the Congress not to fund USAID for next year. I'm cutting it out right now, even though that money is already allocated. I am going to cut out the Consumer Protection Bureau. Money already allocated, a whole agency. And then the vice president and the president and the illegal president all say that the courts do not have the power to regulate what the executive branch does. Then, in other words, if they're willing to defy Congress's power of the purse, defy the courts, then he does have more power. That was my whole point with John Wood Jr. That is dictatorship, and that is more power than any U.S. president, because that is outside the confines of our democratic republic.
I've never in my entire life seen, I could be wrong, but I've never seen a billionaire, the richest person, not in our country, in the world.
Right.
I've never seen a person like that sitting next to the president when the president is giving speeches or whatever you call them, press releases. I don't understand. I don't think that Congress, I don't think these people are more intelligent than, I'm going to just speak for both of us. They're more knowledgeable than we are about their game. And I don't believe they're going to let this man get away with just anything.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question. I hope you're right, but I think we're watching them let him get away with it right now. But let me ask you, I mean, it's what my friend Attorney Nana Jomfi said on the show. We are in the era of who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check him? Who gonna check him? Because Congress is not doing it. They've made that clear. Democrats really don't even have the leverage to do it. Although I can't remember. It was some show I was watching where they said, you know what, if Dems said that they would refuse to do anything for him, that they might have some leverage. They should have been doing that. But it's true that he has a majority everywhere. And Republicans have shown no appetite to check him. So who's going to stop him?
Well, I think the people have spoken and voted him in as president. We have to go with the people have spoken. And so everybody that I talk to that's on his platform, all they talk about is the millions of dollars that they've made, you know, real estate agents that are friends of mine, all the money that they've been afforded by his presidency, or at least that's what they believe. I don't think that the people are waking up, and I don't think that people are going to let him get away with it.
So what does that mean? Revolution? Low polling? Wait for 2 years and vote out the Congress? Meanwhile, they've eliminated or completely defunded, even if it's still staggering along with a few employees, the Department of Education, the Consumer Protection Bureau, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Food and Drug Administration. I mean, what is the people checking him? What does that look like?
I think that these, I think that people, the Congress, I think that these government officials, they want to stay in their cushion jobs. But I think these people are not going to be brainwashed ongoing. I just don't believe that they're going to allow Trump to be successful in his quest, because they're going to have to sign up with him. And you have more knowledge about this than me. Do you really think that the government is going to allow a president, any president, to get away with this?
I think they are allowing it. I do agree with you, though, Eric. I think the people are the only ones that can stop it. I believe we, the people, will stop it. And for me, it may look like, right now, the protests are starting to rumble, and the people haven't even really felt it yet. We see it, but we don't totally feel it yet. Yes, prices are going up. Yes, they're attacking everything black. Everything black except Clarence Thomas is under attack. But when it comes to the Consumer Protection Bureau going away, now you're going to start to see those big, obnoxious, bounce check fees and a fee for this and a fee for that. All those hidden charges that the CFPB did outlaw. That stuff is going to start coming into your bank account. You know what I mean? Those kinds of impacts, people are going to start getting madder and madder and madder. And I do believe we, the people, will stop them. Whether it means widespread protests, whether it means widespread voting, whether it even means a measure of revolution, whatever that looks like. I hope we don't have a war, but whatever that looks like. It could be a revolution of consciousness. It could be a revolution of taxpayer revolts. It could be massive widespread boycotts, which are already starting, right? The 28th is supposed to be a buy nothing day, the 28th of February, and then March 7th through the 14th, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is boycott Amazon. So maybe it's all of those things. And I believe, I agree with you, Eric. I'm I'm going to probe. What do you mean by that? And how do you think it looks? But I think that's the only hope for America right now. Because Congress, I don't see them doing jack other than yelling. I mean, I give it to, I give it to Congresswoman Maxine Waters and AOC and Kamlager Dove and Summer Lee and those who are trying to educate and amplify, but they do not have the majority. And Republicans ain't doing it. So that means it's going to be left to us.
Well, I'd like to close with this, and your points are well taken. I have been listening to talk radio my entire adult life, and I believe that platforms like this are beneficial, and I spread the word to my friends and family to listen to talk radio, and so I think that's going to help, and I also think that the end game for Trump is to be like Elon Musk. I think he wants to be richer. I think that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
As soon as people realize his game, and they're starting to, as soon as they realize what he's all about, and I'm not trying to trash Trump, I'm just calling it like I see it. I ain't got
Leave
time
that
to
to
play
me.
games.
All right, Eric, it's great to talk with you. Eric called 800-920-1580, and you can do the same, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I feel so alone.
I'm embarrassed to talk about it.
How can I help my kid if I can't help myself?
I can't remember when I wasn't stressed.
I don't like it.
When you feel overwhelmed by your thoughts and emotions, it's okay to get help. You are not alone. CalHope is here for you with free, safe, and confidential mental health resources for youth, young adults, families, and you. Find support now at calhope.org.
Fatherhood includes being present during pregnancy and beyond, supporting your partner, advocating for your baby, and ensuring a healthy birth. Black fathers play a key role in reducing maternal and infant health disparities, and your involvement starts during pregnancy. Join the free AIM Fatherhood program today and learn how to support your partner, advocate for your baby's health, and connect with other fathers committed to healthier births. Visit blackinfantsandfamilies.org/fatherhood to get started.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com. KBLAtalk.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things Eric said that I want to point out is where I started the show today, which is that why would Donald J. Trump, the man who is reportedly president of the United States right now, why would he allow a 4-year-old to insult him in front of a bevy of press? This is a man whose ego requires constant flattery and stroking, who is clearly not tolerant of any criticism from anyone, anywhere. By the way, neither is Musk. He attacks everybody and they mama on the platform he bought, which we used to call Twitter. Why would he let little X sit up there in the Oval Office during a press conference and say, "Shh, hush your effing mouth. You're not the president. You need to go away." And he had nothing but a look for him. And then he said he has a very high IQ, which to him means he's white. But in real life, that means he would have passed an intelligence test, or taken an intelligence test, which although they say they're racially biased, whatever. I mean, supposedly Elon Musk has a high IQ. But why would he allow that? The only reason I could think of is money. And it's not just the $250 million that Musk put into the campaign. So I think Eric is right when it comes to Trump's real bottom line is the bottom line. It's not, yeah, he wants to be a dictator. That would be like a side, hustle, I guess. I think being a Hitler, it would be being a Franco, right? Being a Mussolini would just be icing on the cake. The real cake is the money. And this is a classic follow the money. Because there's no other reason why he would allow himself to be humiliated in that way. A judge has ordered Mayor Adams and his attorneys to appear in court tomorrow to explain why the Department of Justice wants to dismiss charges against this black man. I laugh because to me it's like they have him in the permanent stockade. They've got these charges that they can hold over his head while he dances like a little black puppet. And we know who the puppet masters, keyword masters, are in this case. Okay, so it's almost time for me to turn the microphone over to Mr. Tavis Smile. He's got a great show for you today, as always. And I have not forgotten that we just have a few days left till the end of the California legislative session. I have something to share with you, in fact, about that. I will save it for tomorrow regarding reparations. We are on countdown. What happened to that California legislation? Well, the legislative session ends in just a few days, but I have some information to share with you. I'll share that tomorrow, and we'll have that conversation and what we need to do. Because so far, no legislation to replace Senator Bradford's bill to create a Freedmen Agency or a funding mechanism. In fact, we haven't seen a flurry of reparations legislation. It's not too late, but we haven't seen it. This week is the week they would need to do that. Today is also the birthday of Audre Lorde, my godmother. And I call her that not because I'm being cute, but because, weirdly enough, her and my mom both attended Hunter High School in New York, which is a high school for people with high IQs. It is. It's a gifted high school, public high school. Anyway, her and my mom were actually high school best friends, and they remained friends well into most of their lives. I think really their whole lives, although they had some fallings out and in. So she actually helped my mom name me and was my actual godmother in real life. And of course, when you're a kid, you don't think about who these people are, and it doesn't really sink in. It's just my mom's friend who's my godmother. It wasn't until, really, I was in college when I started to realize who this lady, who was my godmother, actually was. Today is her birthday, and I'm wishing her a happy heavenly birthday, and I want to quote her, a quote that seems really, really important in these times. She says, "When we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak." And I think about that all the time. I think about her another quote I love when she says, "Your silence will not protect you." In these days of censorship and authoritarianism, we must speak out. Like my mama used to say, history is now and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. A Delta flight from Minneapolis, Minnesota crashed at Toronto Pearson Airport Monday, injuring nearly 20 people, but causing no fatalities. The endeavor